I was born for a greater fate. Let us raise our cups at Vater, in honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come. Help you to deal with the enemies who besiege your home, and then head for the coordinates that Thorvald gave me. Well, I know, Edvater, that you are dauntless, and if I but say the word, you will join me in my seeking. But the place I will voyage to is a perilous one. Few can survive in it, and though duty leads me there, I do not want my debt to be paid with your blood. It is wise to hide one's past from a stranger. but shameful to hide it from a friend. Ask away. I was a seafarer. Every spring we would go out onto the world sea and slay many armed krakens and ravenous sea drakes. And then the season of fire would come, and we would dock on Asaheim to battle for our clan's right to inhabit that land. I was young, but already fierce, and facing down foes twice my size. The chooser of the valiant, who had watched the fateful battle from the cliffs, deemed me worthy and took me to the Fang for healing. My clan was proud. I spent years in training before I passed through the dreaded gate of Mordkai, bowed on the runestones before both his heads, and walked into the Valley of Dreams. As for what I saw there, do not ask me. That is between me and the Death Wolf. The Rune Priest scoured my soul, but found it untouched by corruption. I returned, and I partook of the cup of Wolfen. The Canis Helix entered my blood, and the agony of transformation changed my body to resemble that of a beast, and my mind was drowned in the dark depths of bloodlust. My return from the dark was long and cost me greatly. When I stood in the hall of the Fang once more, the Rune Priests imbued my body with the remaining gene seed and implanted the necessary organs. But those trials were nothing compared to what I had already endured. When I overcame the darkness of Wolfen in my soul, I set out for the Fang. Every neophyte must undergo a hunt during this journey. One might fight a fearsome wolf, another a sly snow worm. I crossed paths with a doppelgrendel, a cunning and rancorous spirit. For 5 days and nights did we bring our wits and wrath to bear in battle. The spirit changed its guise, but in the end, I gouged out its eyes. Fleeing, it hissed a curse. Nowhere would I find an honorable death, vowed the creature. My saga came to an abrupt and inglorious end, like a noble banner moldering and fraying at the edge. When I made my return to the Fang, clutching that crushed eye, the Rune Priest looked at me, and his face grew grim. But he said not a word, save to confirm my victory. Everything on Fenris has power. I have fought in 100 battles, and suffered 100 injuries. Even wolves are not certain to survive such grievous maiming. But I always survived. And with each new victory, my thoughts took a darker turn. What if I truly am destined never to die with honor? What if my death will be foolish and inglorious? Each time I bury a brother, I secretly envy him. A gift straight from the Seven Hells! What is the valor of a deathless warrior worth? Where is greatness in the exploits of one who shrinks from death? When the wolf time comes and my fallen brothers march into the final battle, where will I be? Sitting alone in the Fang, beside a fire that went out long ago? The ages weigh heavily on my hands and heart, and one day I will be too tired and feeble to wake up and rush into the fray. What will they call me then? Ulfar, who slept through the battle? Ulfar, Mordkai's unwanted. The path of Astartes leads into the fangs of horror. Any threat that can be endured by the mind is one that mortals can handle. But we are needed where the unthinkable begins to happen. Things that understanding cannot help to bear. Things that, once beheld, turn minds into bubbling, pulsating dreck. An ordinary man who encounters this evil will go mad with despair. But we are incapable of feeling fear. It is simply not in our nature. Instead, we feel unbearable rage. We must select the neophytes who will look into the eyes of the unthinkable and roar. That is why we need our trials. Many times I have heard the clinking of Mordecai's fangs next to my ear, but I have never allowed him close enough to sink them into my rump. We call ourselves the Baleful Howl, and our sign is known to all wolves. We are old wolves who have seen much and endured much. This is the great black-maned wolf, patron of slayers and totem of our great company, the Black Manes. All know that we are fearsome and hungry for a struggle of war, that we are cunning, deadly, and show no mercy. Speak our name, and thunder rolls. Even among the brothers, my pack are counted as the most rabid glory hunters. When we were young, we knew no taboos or limits to our pride. Years passed, and suddenly we are veterans. But our avaricious hunger for exploits is undimmed. A complete accounting of all my deeds would land like an avalanche upon you. I earned this mark of endurance when I slew a chieftain of an Eldari tribe. He dealt me a serious injury, and the wolf priest said I would not survive it. But it has not killed me yet. 2 years I lay in a delirium after that battle. When I awoke on Fenris, I set out for the wastes at once. And there I hunted a black-maned wolf and killed it with my bare hands. For that feat, I was granted the rank of Wolf God. That fearsome beast remains with me to this day, and I carry his furious spirit. And Jarl Ragnar carved this one when I beheaded a despicable sorcerer, the Archdespot of Tyrannica II. Many brothers fell victim to him, and we do not sing that saga before mortals, for the preservation of their minds. Alas, I failed to behold my own glorious deed. My eyes streamed with blood, and I hunted down the sorcerer by scent alone. And of my glorious victories, there are many more. Besides, not for nothing did the Jarl grant me the accolade of Terminator. Before becoming an Astartes, I dreamed of becoming a Skald, a keeper of stories. At feasts, I often sing of my brother's exploits. Thousands are stored in my memory. When I am near, wolves fight even more ferociously, for they know their deeds will be immortalized. One of the tech priests theorized that our songs contained hidden psychometric codes to increase courage. Maybe there is such a thing in other places, but on Fenris, our sagas are spun from memory, from respect, from pride. More than words stringing, a secret weaving. Magic in its marrow. Not to ear nor mind speaks the saga. Its spell sounds deeper strike, and the heart hearkens. That is my moniker, yes. My voice knows no fatigue, whether fighting or feasting. I can recite the glorious sagas and terrify foes with my battle cry for hours. Oh, this fine name was given to me by my loyal friends, Arnulf Bloody Axe and Skjaldi Twice Thinker. The bonds between us were many. Arnulf was my sworn brother. It was he whom I faced down in the battle where the chooser of the valiant noticed me. Arnulf too was deemed worthy. We went from bitter foes to setting aside the enmity between our clans and becoming close friends. He gave me this blade to show that the past was forgotten. Quick to laugh was Arnulf, and fearsome in a fight. Almost as fearsome as me. Skjaldi Twice Thinker. Well, he was sent to us by the Allfather to see that we did not meet our deaths as young pups. He had enough thoughts in that head of his to make do for me and Arnulf both. It was Skjaldi who taught me to compose verses. The spirits prized his wisdom, and the runes hearkened to his voice. When the Xenos took me prisoner, Arnulf caught up with them and slew a score of them with his fine axe. And Skjaldi called down a storm so mighty that the abomination's jet bikes were whipped into the wind's furious currents like leaves. But even that was not enough to take them all. We were captured. Tarvantius took Skjaldi first and turned his body into something unthinkable. Then he took Arnulf, and during the many hours of torture, my brother's only response to the freak was a disdainful laughter. And then he fell silent. And their sagas will be sung in the Hall of the Immortals, sowing valor in the hearts of the young. I enjoy telling stories. What do you want to know? I enjoy telling stories. Fenris Hjoda, et Vater.